Hello everyone, welcome. This is Amber.
Hi.
And I'm David. It's about 7 o'clock right now. Obviously no one's here yet, so we'll just do a quick introduction while we're waiting for people, and then we'll get into it. So I've seen a bit of interest in this one because it's on a topic that a lot of my friends and a lot of people who follow me a lot of people in general have been affected by drugs and drug use. Whether you've been a drug user or someone in the family, or you've lost someone, or someone you know has had problems with drugs. So
I think someone in the world has been affected in some way, shape or form within the workplace, home.
yep, and even people who aren't involved in drugs at all, like the general public, they are affected because they're the homes where people break into to steal things to support their drug habits. It's a community problem. So
Fraud.
There's fraud.
Gambling problems.
Yeah, theft, violence. So there's it affects the whole community. So it's something I feel like we need to address and look into. And I can speak from experience myself because I've had quite a long history with drug use, right through from my teenage years, going through all the stages, going through recreational, social, habitual. I personally don't believe I've had an addiction, but I've definitely had a habit, and there's a difference between an addiction and a habit, and I'll let it go. And it's all about breaking those habits. Do we have anyone in here yet? G'day, Christina. Welcome. People are slowly going to start coming in. So I'll start with myself, my personal journey with drugs, and I guess it all started at the age of 13. Like, it started very slow with me. Like, for the first time I tried drugs, I smoked some pot, and I got really stoned.
They say that's the gateway drug.
Yeah, they do say it's a gateway drug, but I really don't believe it's a gateway drug. Not in my case, because I didn't like it. I got paranoid. I felt really dopey and really stupid, and it just wasn't worth the effort to me. And so I'd done it once, I'd done it a couple of times, but then I had a break, and I didn't really get into drugs until I was like 14 or 15, which is only a year down the track from 13, I suppose. But I spent those years between 13 and 15 drinking a lot.
Someone else has come online.
Yep.
Hi, Elise.
Yeah, g'day, Elise. So basically I went from pot to alcohol, and then at the age of 15 or 16, I got introduced to speed, the old school speed. Those who are in the know, used to be made up it used to be powder, and used to snort it, and I'd snort it and then run around in circles screaming because my nose would be stinging for 5 minutes. It was a rough old dose, but then I could be up all night drinking, and yeah, it was basically, I used it on weekends or here and there, just partying. Until I progressed through to my late teenage years. I did actually go off drugs for a while because I had a brother who died from them. He had it's a bit of a grey area. To this day, I don't really know if it was suicide or whether it was an accidental overdose, but he overdosed on pharmaceuticals. He had 54 pills in his system. And when that happened, that kind of pushed me away from, I wouldn't even touch an aspirin or Disprin, but then I never dealt with his death properly, and I started to get into partying, which is on the rave scene, dance party scene, which my friend asked earlier, who am I going to be covering my rave years? Yeah, definitely. Amber used to be on the rave scene.
Definitely.
Up in Brisbane.
Still am.
Yeah, she's still on the rave scene, not
the drug rave scene, but the rave scene, the music scene, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so with the rave scene come...
Hi, Andrew.
Yeah, with the rave scene come a lot of ecstasy, MDMA, cocaine, and LSD. My favourite drug was ecstasy. And back in the day, when ecstasy first came to Australia, believe it or not, I'm showing my age here, in the 80s, it was around 87, 88, maybe 89. The first 6 months it come to Australia, you could sell it. It wasn't criminalised. They didn't have it classified, and you could buy them at nightclubs. And you could buy them. You could buy them legally. There wasn't even seen. No one knew what it was. And I remember my first one. I remember paying this fella $50 for a pill, and I was laughing. I was going, "What? You want to sell me a pill for $50? What's it going to do?" And then next minute, 40 minutes later, I was seeing other planets. Everything just, my whole world just changed, and it was the most euphoric, unbelievable. It was the best feeling I ever had, and I'm not glorifying it because
Hi, Dean.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, I'm not glorifying it. G'day, Dean.
And Kimmy's also joined us.
Welcome, everyone. I'm not glorifying it, but back in the day, if you were ever had an ecstasy tablet or whatever, they were just next level, and you don't get these days. And you know what? That the rave scene and that kind of set my pace, because I was chasing that same kind of high. I was chasing that same level. And then as the pills got weaker, I'd take more pills. I'd search for new things. So I was very, 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 very adventurous with my drugs. I met my natural mother amongst this stage when I was like 17, 18. And through her, I saw a lot of hard drug use through her friends, through her husband, mainly heroin. And I saw a group of people that used to come to her place every Friday, Saturday night. Within 2 or 3 weeks, all die. Die of overdoses. And there was a very strong batch of heroin going around that stage on the streets in Sydney. If you want to read out the comments.
Wonderful that you're sharing your story. I myself have fallen into drugs as a young girl on heroin. This is Elise. Ice and coke pills, the lot to everything and anything, but never addicted.
Just reading the comments as we go, people. So
I can't see more.
Yeah, just see more.
There we go.
Yep. Love your style, my friend. Keep up the good work. Yep. Love and light to you and your friend. Yep.
Hi, Jason, and hi, Christy. Welcome.
Yeah, hi, Jason. And I was the same, Elise. I never called myself addicted, but I loved it. I was there most weekends, and my weekends went from Friday nights to Saturday nights, and they started going from starting on a Wednesday. That's when the clubs would start happening. Yeah, I'd go out Wednesday, be up Thursday night,
Sunday.
be up Friday, and mind you, I'd be working on Thursday and Friday. Very rarely I'd turn up to work on a Saturday. We were meant to, but that was it. I was gone, and then Sunday you have a recovery party. Sometimes Monday there's a little wind down party. Then basically your night's off for Tuesday or Monday, Tuesday. And
what were these? Were these 1980s, 1990s?
These are late 80s, early 90s.
There you go.
In Sydney. Always a recovery party on Sunday. Raves were in warehouses back in the day. They weren't licensed premises or anything. They weren't controlled, or they weren't policed. And if the police did turn up, everyone disappeared quickly. You'd see 1,000 people just scatter through Alexandra, or for Woolloomooloo or Waterloo, or down Pier 1 or wherever it may be, you know. So, but then I saw the effects of heroin, and I saw that many people die, because in the early 90s there was a batch of heroin that came over that was ultra pure. It was very pure, and people were just taking their normal cap or whatever, their 50 and that, and bang, they were dropping. And my mum, I can talk a bit about it now because she's passed, and her husband passed. He died of a heroin overdose pretty well. But they were down the pub, Brookvale pub in Sydney, if anyone knows it to be exact, and a guy and a girl that were friends of theirs, and those two, they got on. They argued who was going to go in and try it first. Her friends did, or her friend did. He went in there and he dropped and he died in the toilet at the pub. So they've taken off home. Next minute, all shit's broken loose, and I end up throwing the girl out of my place because she'd done something that's I'm not going to go into, but it wasn't very respectful, especially when her man just died. So I threw her on the back of my motorcycle and dumped her down the road, and then that afternoon she overdosed and died. So there was 2 in one day, and then yeah, I've just seen so many people lose it. My mum wasn't really an addict as such. She was just playing around with it a lot, but some of her friends were. And she beat the habit like a long time ago when she was young. And she she reformed, and yeah, with me when she reformed and that, she got on a high horse. She got on a high horse, and she was always on me about that. So I had my run in with drugs at an early age.
Guys who just come on, Daniel, Tim, and Ash. Nice.
Yeah, g'day, Ash. Yeah, so I had my run in at an early age. Then come between my 20s and 30s, I was a good boy. I was working with my own business. So I was married. I had my kids and that. And the use was very, 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 very minimal. And if my wife and I did use them at the time, we'd arranged babysitters for the kids, and it was planned ahead, and it was just social, very social, and very far and few between. But I guess old habits die hard. When my marriage broke up, I'll admit it, I used that as an excuse to hit the drugs. And for the 10 years or so I had a break from them, I went double time. I sure as hell wanted to catch up. I made a good go of it. And my drug of choice back then was still ecstasy and was cocaine. And coke was an expensive habit. But I done what I done. And fast forward to come to the late 30s, 40s, speed was out. Once you use drugs like cocaine and ecstasy, that you become, I don't know, did you find this, Amber, being on the rave scene? You become a bit of a drug snob, because you look down on people that use
definitely a hypocrite. Yes.
Yeah, you look down on people that use other drugs.
Oh yes, absolutely they do. These days, they're totally against ice heads. Absolutely against ice heads. Basically, anyone in the rave scene, they're almost against drugs. Full stop. These days, which is a good thing. I can say not like that 20 years ago when I entered the rave scene, 24 years ago, mind you, and 20 years before that, you.
Yeah, well, the rave scene is angry because the good drugs are gone. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as that anymore. But the youth don't know that. The youth won't know that.
No, there's no such thing as a goodie, or back in those days, they were different. And they were probably a little bit more expensive, but you got what you paid for. And not condoning it, because you cannot get that quality anymore. And
but I think it's the first high that everyone chases. There's always that thing, they're chasing the first high, chasing that first high, because usually that first high is wow, amazing. You know, it's insane.
Yeah.
But you'll never get that first high because you didn't know what to expect, and it was exciting. You know, you're not going to get that excitement again because you know what to expect to a degree.
I suppose. And they say that with heroin, and I'm very lucky because I did experiment. I only experiment with heroin when I was a young fella, very young. And
Thanks, Craig.
Yep. The first 2 or 3 times I touched that drug, I overdosed. And I was brought back by an ambulance, and so I thought, to put it bluntly, fuck this. I'm not getting no, because honestly, I started out to take drugs recreationally and socially, but that recreational grew and grew and grew until it become like every other weekend. Then it started to become every weekend, and it started becoming like 3-4 days a week. And then
welcome Mel, welcome Hayden.
Yeah, so it did grow into something's falling down.
That's okay.
Did you drop the mic?
No.
Yeah. So from there, then I fast forward to my 40s and that. Then my 40s, I thought I've been through the worst. And that then come along the drug ice, or meth, crystal, whatever you want to call it, and that drug become like socially everywhere in my social circles. Everyone was using it, and not everyone in the world, everyone in my circles, and
it definitely is an epidemic.
Yeah, and it is. It's that drug it's grown and grown and grown and grown, and there's a lot of people who's they can't handle it. They honestly can't handle it, and they're getting raging habits. Their morals are out the window. They're doing things that they would never do before. They're doing shit that's it's created a new class of criminals, basically, because you've got all these people who's fiending for the drug, and so they're doing all this stupid crime. And they would have never been criminals in the past. You get people who's on the stuff, and I'll never forget the first time, because I was kind of got involved in the scene, and I remember someone telling me, oh, there's some shoppers coming around, and I thought, shoppers, what's shop? And I'm going, then I realised what they're talking about. There's people come around, they call themselves shoppers, you know, like they went out stealing stuff.
Yeah, steal trolleys of things.
Yeah, they steal things and come and sell it to you. And
brand names, snow dropping.
Yeah, and I'm going, they're not shoppers, they're stealers. Like, my mum was a shopper. She'd go shopping and she'd go through the checkout. This is not my mum that was using drugs. My other, because I was adopted. I don't know if you know my story. I had two mums, so don't get the two confused. Two different people, and they're both gone, bless their souls. But my mum used to go shopping at Woolworths and go through the trolley and pay the checkout chick or whatever, or checkout guy, and that was to me as a shopper. Like, you know, a bank robber doesn't call himself a banking customer, does he? He's a fucking bank robber. So there's all these new breeds of people stealing stuff, and the scene was just absolutely insane. I've seen violence increase.
Definitely.
I've seen a lot of people, a lot of friends incarcerated, go to jail. A new breed of gangsters popping up.
One day you're friends with them, the next day you're not. Backstabbing galore, chronic lies. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. It really is a dog-eat-dog world out there, and ICE really does it.
Yeah.
You know, police know that if they can get you when you're days old off your head, they can pretty much get you to talk, you know, even when you don't want to talk. They don't even have to actually come anywhere near you. They can just watch you from afar. You stick out like dog's balls.
You do stick out, and like, when you think about it, if the cops wanted to find out where the ICE is, all they have to do is drive around at night, the house with all the lights on and the music blaring, all the cars parking out, people coming in out the front. It's not a very discreet drug. It's not a very discreet drug, and people can deny that. And, you know, I was caught up in that for a few years. I was caught up in that lifestyle. And from my point of view, like, I wasn't really an ice user, and I was one of these drug snobs. I loved my Coke but once I started using it, I honestly enjoyed it, and I made excuses for myself. One of my biggest excuses was I've got ADHD, this and that.
I think every drug user does. We make excuses. We justify why we do it.
I justified it, and
thanks, Freddie.
Yeah, I end up in prison. I end up in prison on supply charges. I'm not going to go into that. That's a bit of a story in itself. I might cover that another time. But when I was in prison, I saw a lot of drugs inside prison. I won't really talk out of school about too much about it. I'll just brush on it. But the drug of choice in prison is bupe, and here's where I was blessed again. I didn't really like bupe because I've never been into me downers or me slows or this now. I've always been into my ecstasies, my cokes and my uppers. So, and trust me, the last place you want to be, the last thing you want to do in jail is be locked in a cell, like revving off your head. Because, but I probably did once or twice in my entire sentence, but it's not as fun as it is on the outside. And
I'm not going to stop you there. I'm just going to go, absolutely, Brody. Alcohol does it too. When I tell my story, that it's very similar, not to do with alcohol, but legal drugs, like addiction, not just to illicit drugs. There's addictions to legal drugs, as I said. And but it's an epidemic really these days. And people do hide in the broom closet with it because, you know, a lot of people aren't proud of it.
But there comes to a stage where you can't hide, like you expose yourself, you know. It becomes obvious, and then the further you get into
it's an antisocial thing,
and the further you get into it, the less you don't care about how you project your image. You start hating society, and you outcast yourself from society, and you don't care what society think. One of the biggest trends these days on YouTube and on Instagram or whatever is tweakers and crackheads and this and that videos of them doing the most random, the most stupidest shit in the street, and the new generation of zombies that's coming along. So I kind of weaned myself off the drugs. I weaned myself, like, there's a lot of people out there, and I'd love to hear from anyone who wants to come up and talk about their own personal story of recovery. I removed myself away from where I could get drugs. I didn't go to rehab. I didn't go to recovery. I was kind of put off. I was kind of put off rehab and all of that, because when I was 16, 15, I was about 16. I was on the streets and that, and I was forced to go to counselling and to AA. They were making me go to AA, and I wasn't even really an alcoholic. And I thought, and then they put me into wasn't Langton Clinic, it was William Booth. I was William Booth in Sydney at 16 years of age. I was in William Booth, and they told me I had to wear pajamas for 2 days. And as soon as they told me that, I said, "Are you fucking serious? I'm not wearing pajamas for 2 days. That's stupid." And they said, "No, you have to." And I said, "No, I don't have to." I just walked out of there, and I lost the place in the refuge I was in at the time, which was run by...
See, the thing is, no one can tell you what to do. When you want to help yourself, you will help yourself the way that you know how to. And everyone, everyone's different. And
but that's right. But I didn't even have an alcohol problem then. Like, I was a kid just getting pissed on the weekends, and just because I was a street kid, and that it was for Salvation Army. I'm not bagging them out, but I was staying in one of their lodges down there, John Irwin Lodge in Surrey Hills, and they said, "No, you have to go to William Booth," and I ran away back on the street. But the thing is, like, drugs these days and dealers and stuff, they're on every second house. You go to some suburbs, and you got to spot who's not the dealer, who's the normal person, and there's none. There's none. Like, everyone's a dealer. If someone wants to make a bit of money, they'll buy a bit of shit and turn it over. Well, that's it. A lot of their plans. A lot of them will just take it themselves, and they fail as a dealer. But or there's or they'll just go do crime or rob a drug dealer or this and that, and it's getting out of hand in society. It's really getting out of hand, and normal people are suffering. So my personal way, I removed myself. I turned off my Facebook for a year and a half, 2 years. And don't get me wrong, it's once I got sober, I dabbled every now and then. I dabbled. I'd have a day or two on it, and then I wouldn't touch it again for 6 months, and I'd have a day or two on it again, and I keep going. So it was a lifelong thing, but I didn't let it get me stuck in that rut, stuck in the scene. I removed myself from the scene. I removed myself from the toxic people I was around.
You need to, but you can't just do that. You need to surround yourself with good support. You can't just not have any support. Run straight back to it. The moment you're bored, the moment you have that down moment, and it happens, especially when it's what we've turned to is coping mechanisms since day dot. Really.
Yeah, you do need good people around you and stuff, and people who's not on it,
and depending on what drug you're coming off, you might actually need to get proper medical help. And alcohol, heroin, those two are just an example.
Well, alcohol and heroin are the only two drugs that can actually kill you coming down.
Yes,
you can actually die from the withdrawals.
Absolutely. So someone who does want to get off drugs does need to look into and make sure that they can just come off it without any, real backlash, health wise. That's definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brody's Amber's on the ball. She's not on the 8 ball. No, she's not on the 8 ball. I can promise you that. No. What it is, and this is my theory, is that in this world we do things for 2 reasons. And I mentioned this last night at a fellowship meeting we had. What we do is things for 2 reasons. We do it to either to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. And here's where okay, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to bag out rehab, because I've known a lot of people who's gone to rehab and has worked for them, and it's worked brilliant for them. And you know what? I'd rather see someone doing great at rehab than thinking that we'll never bag it out. It just wasn't for me, because rehab has helped people get off of drugs, and it's replaced their pleasure with their rewards. So they offer rewards, and you get recognition for your sobriety, for how long you've been sober. But I firmly believe once you've got rehab working for you, this is only my view, you need to break through that cycle and let everything go and have a new life and colourful baggage behind you. So, but if anyone wants to come up and talk about rehab, talk about their experience, talk about how it's worked for them, okay, I'm quite happy for them too, because I've seen it change so many lives. There was a friend of mine who's been through rehab. I was going to get her to come and talk today. She had other commitments because she's organising some rehab in her area, like an outreach program or something. I would have loved to see her come and talk because it's really worked for her. Chaos. G'day, Brad. How are you, mate? No, it's been a while, and I've had a long road since there, Bradley. Like, I've had a really long road. I've had a long road, and I've been through the wars, and now I'm finally at the ripe old age of 54. I'm 55 next month. I've got a better perspective on life. My head is clear from all distractions. That's what see drugs as. It's definitely a distraction. So
Yes.
yeah, but g'day, Christy. G'day. I'll share that to everyone who's coming in. I appreciate everyone coming here. And as I said, anyone want to come on camera and come up and and discuss their thing, just hit the join live, and because the more positive stories, the more positive energy we put out here, the better it is for everyone.
Hi, Storm.
G'day, Storm. Storm's a friend of mine who's gone through rehab. Maybe here we go. There's okay.
A lot of people I know have suffered
Brody,
with alcohol issues since a teen. Definitely.
Here's Brody.
Hi, Brody.
To see if this works, because I've had a few problems with with my lives. Adding. Here we are. And you're here, Brody.
How you going?
Good. How are you? Good. How are you?
Alright.
How's life treating
you? Yeah, alright. Since that other idiot's fucked off again.
Yeah.
No, I've had alcohol issues for a while.
Yep.
I got off them a few times and shit like that, but a lot of my crime used to be involved with alcohol and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I've done 3 stints in jail.
So when you say a crime, was it just silly stuff you done when you were drunk, or did you actually steal or do crime to get alcohol, or a bit of both?
No, like DUI, bashing people.
Yeah.
All that sort of shit while I was drunk and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I got off it for like 3 years. Like I didn't go to AA. Like I did go to AA, but I sort of turned around one day and said, "No, I'm going to stop drinking," and I stopped drinking for 3 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
And you're still sober now?
I started to drink again, but not to the extent that I was.
Yeah.
Like I used to drink a carton of beer a day.
Wow. That's not cheap either.
Not for your liver.
Yeah. No, that's not cheap either.
But yeah. See, and the thing is, alcohol is legal.
Yeah.
It is.
Alcohol is legal. The one thing I had a problem with that sent me to hospital, which is very much legal if you can get over the tobacco counter, are names or whipped cream bulbs, nitrous oxide. Yeah, and I was doing about 200 boxes a week, give or take, and you could even get them delivered to your home. You know, $40 a box, which is pretty cheap, 50 bulbs. And, you know, I would do them. And, you know, it was like a 2-second high, but a bit of fun. The next thing I know, my body's going numb all the way over and I can't move. I've gone to the hospital. The hospital sent me home 3 times, 4 times over going, nah, you know, we don't know what's wrong with you. We don't know what's wrong with you. Go to your GP. The GP knew straight away. And yeah, the hospital, fixed me at least. But it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. You know, there's no warning signs on those boxes like there is on alcohol, at least on tobacco. You know, they just sell them with these whipped cream bulbs, you know, nitrous oxide. And yeah, it could have killed me. It literally could have killed me. And this is all legal.
And it's like when Brooksy was saying before, bupe is the one thing you can get in jail.
Yeah.
They say running around jails just like that.
Yeah. I've seen people run up and down the fence line all day just chasing that one cat. You know, and that one cat and their credit's no good anywhere, and they, you know, I've seen some horrible things inside. Like, I've seen people stick their arms through the fence and get
Yeah.
a shot of one that's half filled with blood. And
I just had to
this is
check at bloody Silverwater in Sydney.
Yep.
Climb through the fucking razor wire just to get some sort of medication.
wow.
Yeah. It's pretty
It's-
fucking brutal.
Yeah, did you get cut up pretty bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't try that at home, people. Don't try climbing through razor wire.
Yeah,
No,
it's not
it's not
ideal.
hard.
No.
Not ideal.
Yeah, but it's just it's the way it takes over people's minds, and nothing else seems to. Even self-preservation doesn't matter. Like if people aren't caring about their own lives and their own welfare, how can they care about their family, their friends, and the community in general?
Yeah.
And it's sad. And like I have been part of that problem, like where I have sold drugs. I've made an income out of drugs. I thought I had morals where I would never sell a drug I wouldn't take myself, which made it worse because I'd always be scattered when I'm selling it.
Yeah.
And, but I wouldn't like.
You know,
Put this right. I wouldn't sell heroin because to me, if I sell heroin and someone goes and dies on it, I couldn't live with myself. You know, like.
no.
And it's not a very good way to make money when your customers are actually dying, is it?
Well, but that's
No, it's not.
the thing they say is when it comes to, I don't really know. I've never really been in the dealing scene full stop. But when it comes to heroin dealing, it's predictable. When you can feed so quality, you can basically, you know that they're going to come back. You know they're going to come back. You know they're going to come back. Whereas ice, the day you don't have any, they're going somewhere else, and they probably won't come back. You know, but you can control people with both. And these days, they're actually putting heroin into amphetamines, so it gives you that same effect. You're going back over and over and over again. So it's not just that mental addiction. You've got that physical withdrawal and that physical addiction as well.
And apparently there's been a lot of that shit happening where I live at the moment. People putting shit in shit.
Yeah, that's a danger. That's one of the big dangers of, especially people who use drugs intravenously.
Yep.
They can get hot shots, or if you want to get rid of someone, it's quick and easy that way. Like you just mix something that's not too good in their shit, and they're gone. And who can you trust? Like you can't trust anyone.
These days, mind you, when it comes to that, if you were worried about hot shot or whatnot, they do have these wheel filters that you can buy from needle exchanges. They cost $1.20, $2, whatever. But yeah, you can get them. So yeah.
Yeah, but you've always got that danger
Of running the risk.
Yeah, plus also these things are made in I'll use the word that the papers use and the police use, a clandestine laboratory, which means it's someone's backyard. You can't guarantee that the cleanliness and the sterilisation
Absolutely.
of the stuff they use it.
Weren't they
Even
putting like sheep drench or cow drench in that sort of shit a few years ago?
that stuff was called, here I am, I'm like a walking encyclopedia of drugs. That was called DTT or something.
DMT.
No, it wasn't DMT.
Yeah,
It was DTT.
No, it was something like that.
DPZ, sorry. And it was mixed in the party drug that come from New Zealand. And I've taken those. They call them party or smart pills or party pills, and they were legal for a long time. And they tripped you out hard. I can tell you a funny story in that stuff because it was actually legal drug.
I don't think I'd want to know that, Broxy, knowing you.
Yeah, but it's all right. About 2008 or 2004 or something, I was up the bush tripping on these party pills, and I went outside to do a piss because I was in a caravan, and I seen this rock. I thought, I'll piss on this rock. And so I'm tripping up there. It's a rock. I'm pissing on a rock. That's when the rocks jumped up at me. I was pissing on a possum. It scared the shit out of me. I'm running there screaming. What's wrong with me? Fuck, the rock's a possum. They just thought I was tripping. But seriously, what's with the possum? So I was pretty.
I agree DMT is definitely not something to mess around with, but there are lots of drugs out there that no one should mess around with.
Yeah, DMT is a different level, and
no one is going to do their homework on drugs prior to using them, unless you're me. Back in the day, I would always do my homework to find out as much as I
the
could.
worst thing I ever did? You know the worst thing I ever did? So I heard about those girls in jail shooting up Seroquel.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I had some Valium when I got out of jail. I thought, oh, I'm going to crush this up and see how it goes. And I snorted the motherfucker and literally got stuck behind my fucking sinus.
Yeah. Oh no.
Because I didn't pass it up hard enough.
Does happen. That's like when people take pills without actually taking it with water. You know, the pill can get lodged in your throat and go mouldy. Cause
I snorted it. Yeah, well, one of the other mates said, oh no, that works.
Yeah, well, I swallowed a pill that got stuck in my throat. It was a Viagra, the stiff neck for a week.
Viagra gave you stiff neck. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a dad joke. I had to throw in the dad joke there somewhere. But
everyone knows that joke, Brooksy. Get a new one.
Yeah, I know. Ben, I remember you and I were up for days and you fell asleep and kept playing the guitar, laughing out sound asleep. I remember that. I was still, Benny, we had some crazy times, and Benny here, my friend, my brother, he's off the stuff too now, and he's living a good, happy life. Isn't it funny how as soon as you walk away from that life and that world, okay, your life improves. You know, you might have nothing. You might be a broke bastard, and you might have
drama goes away.
Yeah, but you might have lost all your friends and family and all your friends and
but
whatever.
But were they really friends?
Yeah, but once they see you coming back and sober, and they'll come back into your life.
Oh,
yeah, I'm talking about your friends.
That's what I learnt too when I gave up the drinking, Brooksy. Like, you just realise who your drunk mates are, because once you're sober, they don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah. But I will admit, though, there is some from that world that I'm still good friends with. Yeah. There's some there that, not many, but some friendships were genuine. But I suppose it's down to the individual, because it's got to be reciprocated. I found if you treat people good, they'll treat you good back as well, like as a rule. Some won't. But
some will just see you as an easy play.
But that's what I learned. Like, who's your true friends once you stop drinking? Oh, that's right, because I used to shout them all the time.
Yeah. And and I still get friends now offering me stuff, and I just don't I just ignore it. Like, I'm pretty clear. I'm pretty clear where I'm going with my life and that. And especially after having my heart condition a year ago, and that it's it can be like I've heard of a friend's a relative to my friend who's a young fella. I won't say names or where or when. It was a young healthy bloke in his 20s. He died from cocaine, and we're still friends, Tom, and we never
but
really.
The thing is, I used to dabble in the drugs back in the day, but it's so easy to fucking get these days.
Yeah, that's always the illusion something, because I wished I could say I dabbled in them. I dived into them and swam in them.
But
I drowned in them to come back. I got CPR and come back.
You've moved on from that life. You know.
I moved on from the lifestyle, but
and you're
you still get
bit religious now, so
your mind does go back there. You think, and then you think of a really good timeline, and there's some genuine happy, good times and good memories on there. Like if my friend Pete was here, okay, we were on the rave scene together, and he'll tell you this. I remember at a rave in Darling Harbour, I think it was about 90, could have been 98, 99, 2000. I took that many ecstasy tabs. I took probably about 10 to 15 ecstasy tablets, and probably 3 or 4 trips. And then I smoked a bit of weed, and it put me over the top. And I was lying in the back of Darling Harbour, on my back in Darling Harbour, out in the paved area, looking up at the sky, because I saw Jesus in the sky in the clouds, and he was smoking a big joint. And I'm lying there just laughing, and there was a crowd of people around me.
Didn't you put a photo up about that?
I don't know. don't know. Might have put a. No, that was a different one. That was sober. That was at Nimbin, where I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
Jesus in the clouds. There really wasn't the clouds at the time. But I'll put that photo up against the people that pick up on drugs against seeing Jesus in the clouds. But people around me, and I didn't know them. They're all strangers, random strangers. I remember my friend Pete and my other friend Carlo come running over, and they go, "Dave, are you all right? Are you all right?" And I'm going, I'm flying, I'm having the time of my life. Here these people thought I was like a casualty, and they just chased everyone away from me. Get lost, leave him alone. He's having a good time. And yeah, but that was back in the day, and that was different kind of things. And I used to overdo it, like, that's always a danger. Like, you're having, there comes a point where I've actually overdosed on ecstasy at that stage, because you don't really hallucinate it, but if you overdose on it, bang, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So another drug I want to talk about, which I haven't really been a big fan of, which it's not a drug of choice. I've had a few times. Is depending on what state you're in. Down in Victoria they call it juice. In New South Wales they call it G. Up here in Queensland they call it Fanta. Frank or Fanta they call it somewhere else.
GHB,
GHB or GBL.
GBL.
It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous and easy to overdose on. I've known quite a few people to die on it. And like Frank out or overdose or GL or and if there's people around you who don't know what they're doing, you can lose your life very easily.
It's also a date rape drug. It's something that men give women to rape them, or to make them feel like they want to have sex. It's definitely a drug that men use more so than women. To manipulate, to be conniving for malicious reasons, so to speak.
Okay, I agree. You're both on the ball. I'll read some comments back. I keep touching the screen. The comments keep disappearing. I thank you for all your comments and input. You're both from Ashley, and I agree. You're both on the ball. Good to hear from people who actually know what they're talking about. I myself, I see every time I touch it, it disappears. Okay, I'm just going to make this message come back. Anyway, somehow, this is Facebook. Please fix your ability to read messages. But I will read all the comments and I will reply to them. I agree, you're both on the ball. Good people who actually know what they're talking about. Myself, I've struggled with ice and heroin since 13. I'm now 25. Now I've been clean and relapsed a few times. I'm still struggling with heroin. I find it hard to see value in myself or reasons to stay clean, even though I do want a life not bound by addiction.
Sometimes it's, not going cold turkey. It's the way of, slowly bringing the good into your life, and you notice the bad that weans out. And that's what happened to me a long time ago. I just started to bring one good thing into my life at a time, slowly but surely. So it wasn't that big a shock for me, because some people really can't handle that change, know. So one thing, get a yacht. Not a yacht, a yacht.
One other yacht.
A kayak or something, and go kayaking or something, and then go out a bit more and do things, and just watch the drug life just drift away, really.
Yeah, and like as Ash said here, she relapsed. Don't worry about relapsing. Don't let
relapse is absolutely
don't
normal.
put pressure on yourself. This is another little thing with rehabs and programs, is they put a lot of emphasis on how many days you've been sober, and some will go for 364 days, and then they'll relapse, and they'll feel bad, they'll feel terrible about themselves,
and then they'll just give up,
and then they'll just fall back in. Anyone who's out there and they're trying to get over their addiction and they relapse
is a part of recovery.
Yeah, it's just one day at a time, just day by day, one day at a time. Don't worry about if you're being sober 3,474 days, then you relapse, because every day is a new day. Every day, it's just one day at a time. It definitely, there are people out there who have absolutely turned their lives around through a lot of these rehabs. They have done wonders to their life. So in no way in the world I want to take away anything from them, because I'm so happy every time I see someone in recovery, no matter how they've done it, what they've used, whatever works for you. You need to find out what you want, but the most important thing is you really need to have that desire. That you will never stop
It
unless
comes
you want
from
to stop.
within you, absolutely. It can't come from, anyone else. It's just got to come from within you. And the one thing that this is a psychological fact, if you want something that bad and you really do want to recover, don't go and tell people, I'm going to recover, I'm going to recover. Don't express your goals before you've actually conquered them, because it will actually release a hormone that makes you feel like you've conquered that goal. And
Everyone keep their eye out from after tomorrow. I'm going on a road trip. I'm going with a friend. You might have seen him. He's on the road to redemption. He's had a very hard life. I've done a lot of jail. His name's Andrew Kirby. They made the movie Romper Stomper about him. We're going down to do a podcast with a YouTuber in the next few days. A bloke called Nathan Patterson, or Paddo. We're both going to go down and appear on his podcast, and then after that, we're heading down to Melbourne. We've got a few meetings and stuff to do. We're talking to a few people. So there's some interest from the universities about mainly about Andrew's life, but there's some interest there of mine as well. I believe we're doing another podcast on Monday in Sydney. That one's going to be with. Well, I'll leave that one as a surprise. I'll advertise it as it comes up. A well-known person, and his friend. So we're going to go down and appear on that podcast, and we'll probably do something from Pentridge as well, because we've organised to go through Pentridge Jail. Andrew's organised that, so we are going on a road trip. So that's going to be good, and Andrew and I will probably do some of our own little quick lives as we go along, and he's got quite a story as well. So coming off all the drugs and walking away from the life of crime, and my crime basically, I put a lot of my crime down to my hatred of society at the time. Don't get me wrong, I never hated people. I just hated the rules and bounds of society. But it was drugs that put me in that mind frame. Like I wanted to be an outcast because I felt like an outcast. Drugs made me, I used to think like that. Fuck the straight people. Fuck the people who's going to judge me, this and that. Well, I understand now why they judge me. They got every right to have judged me. Like, I'm not judgmental myself. If people, no matter where you're at in your life, if someone needs to talk, or that my inbox is open, if you're struggling with drugs, if you're struggling with mental health, struggling with anything, I can talk to you from just from my heart. I can't give you professional advice because only professionals can do that, but I can give you life experience advice. So it's opened my eyes up, and half the thing to healing and recovering is looking back at where you were and seeing where you were from outside your own eyes, seeing what effect you had on people and those around you, and acknowledging your mistakes. And
this is actually a psychological fact. Like, most people start life here, right? And then in their life, they go there. We start here too. But what happens is, when we go on drugs, we go back there. So, when we get our lives together, we have to do that massive jump to there. And society doesn't even see that. Society don't see that. So, good on you to those people who've, gone down the dumps and you've fought back. Good on you, because that's a massive jump. That's a massive leap. And society don't realise that. And they really should. They look down on us. And, well, yeah.
Yeah, Brody said, those awesome. Watch out! Probably around Sunday. That podcast will be on his podcast on his platform. So we're planning to leave here in the morning. We're going by road. If those of you who are on my friends list for a while, you would have seen me and Andrew and myself on a road trip to Melbourne a year and a half ago. There's pictures of us at the Big Banana and that. That was quite the eventful trip. We kind of crashed the car on the way down, had a wheel fall off. We had to walk 30. It was like, there was no dull moments. It was, that trip was from the start was like, we were challenged to get there, but we got there, and it was crazy. So hopefully this one's going to be a lot more smoother, and we're going to break it up. We drove from Lismore last time down to Melbourne. This time we're going to go a bit further, like well, Andrew last time drove from up north, north of Brisbane, but this time we're going to go for Brisbane anyway. So watch out for that. If there's anyone else who has anything to add or anything to ask,
He says hi.
say hi, Haley. How are you, Haley? Haley, part of our Couch Potato News team when it finally launches, and that is going to be kicked off very soon. I just had to find my balance and find myself before I started doing a bigger project. Amber's going to be doing these lives with me, and I'll still be doing some on my own and from down the road, on the road. So look forward to some with Andrew over the next day or two. But basically that's it. If anyone, Storm, if you want to come up and talk, Storm, you're quite welcome. But Storm's gone through rehab and has changed a success story from rehab. Just read that was Storm saying society conditions us to surrender the submission of signing away our power.
That's what I was going to actually.
Yes,
I do
100%.
agree. I do agree with that. I absolutely do. At the same time, the government do have a job, and like there's controlling reasons, but at the same time, there are good reasons that they do it. There's multiple reasons.
But you know what? We only sign away our power if we allow it. We do have power. We the biggest power that we have is the power of decision. We can make a choice. You know, no one holds a gun to your head. Well, in 99.9% cases, I've known it to happen to tell you to take those drugs. But at the end of the day, it's our decision. And sometimes when you're younger, you're going to feel like, oh, I'm not going to fit in. I'm not going to be a cool kid.
You're a child for this long of your life, or an adult for that long.
I think I'm a square and that. But that's where you start to get your habits. And if you can make a habit of saying no, okay, that is a healthy habit, because there's such thing as healthy habits. You know, like habit isn't a bad word. It's what the habit is. You can have good habits. You can get into the habit of getting up at 6 o'clock every morning and
going for a jog.
You're going for a jog. Get into a habit of eating healthy. You can get into a habit
of brushing your teeth.
Yeah, you can get into a habit of walking outside before you fart, but that's no fun. But there's healthy habits. So don't be scared of getting a habit. Just get into the habit of saying no, and do research. Look around you. Look at your environment. Look at your community, and look at the damage that drugs and drug use has done. Do you want to be part of it, or do you want to be part of the problem, part of the solution? So apart from that, I'm going to wrap it up a little bit. Can I? Yeah, I will invite you. Sorry, stop. I will invite you up, Storm. Okay. I'll invite you up because I know you've got some valuable input. You're ready to come up. Say no to drugs, people. Yeah, say welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. How are you?
So I've got just for today.
Yep.
What read in NA. This book literally saved my life. So I'll read for today. It's got 365 days, one for each day of the year, which is really important because every day is a fucking struggle. So it says, sharing our gratitude. My gratitude speaks when I can and when I share with others the NA way. The longer we stay clean, the more we experience feelings of gratitude for our recovery. These feelings of gratitude aren't limited to particular gifts like new friends or the ability to be employed. More frequently, they arise from the overall sense of joy we find in our new lives. These feelings are enhanced by our certainty, and the course of our lives would never have taken if it weren't for the miracle we've experienced in our recovery. These feelings are so all-encompassing, so wondrous, and sometimes so overwhelming that we often can't find words for them. We sometimes openly weep with happiness while sharing in a meeting. Yet we wait for words to express what we are feeling. We want so badly to convey to newcomers the gratitude we feel, but it seems that our language lacks the superfoods to describe it. And just read the just for the day daily motivation. It says, "My gratitude has a voice of its own. When it speaks, the heart understands. Today I will share my gratitude with others, whether I can find words or not."
Wow. And that's helped you like every day. So
yeah, that's today.
How long did you attend NA for?
I started going before I went to rehab, so that was I've been on and off member since about 5 years, 10 years, five years.
So when did you actually like when did it become really effective for you? Like how long were you at NA and not and it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like it's still
I,
using or
well, I had my first encounter with people from NA because they do the Hates and Eyes, like where the sponsors go to the hospitals, institutions, jails, and I
Yep.
was doing detox down in Newcastle, and they came and visited me there, and
Yep.
I ended up only doing 3 days in detox, but the fact that they caught me in that window of time where I was there saved me, because when they told me their story, I thought they'd read my file, telling me mine,
Yeah.
and so then it was like, look, hang on, like there's actually other people out there going through what I've been through, and it changed everything because I wasn't alone.
Yeah, and how different is life when you're actually sober and you can think about things with in perspective. Like when you're off your head or you're drunk or you're high, problems seem to compound and you can't see your way through the fog. And when you're sober and suddenly life becomes better and you start to find new things to replace you know.
Yeah,
You get
it's
you get passion back. You get passion back. After drugs and alcohol still is your passion as well. So
yeah,
things you were
yeah,
passionate about that just seem to go, and you can do more things. Like my attitude has done a complete 180, but it's not just through my. I had a desire to improve every aspect of my life, and I've still got a long way to go. I've got a long way to go. I've got to get back into the workforce now because I lost so many years to the lifestyle. And when I say the lifestyle, to the bad things in life. I lost so many years with hatred as well. And to everyone out there who is struggling, one of the biggest healers is love. I say this: you need love in your life. And when you say,
yeah,
and I'm not saying a man and a woman or whoever, whatever your preference is or whatever, it's not to have a partner. Love is to love love yourself, love your community, love people, love the creation, love the world.
grace,
Love the
grace,
world.
the essence of love is to actually experience love.
Yeah, become love, and
Yeah,
act in love, and think with everything you do. Think with love. Um, like if you have children or if you have parents still alive or something, would you want this for my mother? Would you want this for my daughter? Would you want this for? And that's how you can train yourself to think in love. Like, is that how you would want to the people that's closest to you? The next time you're handing someone a little bag or something, imagine that person's your mum. Would you want to hand that to your mum? Or, well, in my case, but anyway, or to your kid. And when I got sentenced, at the judge said to me, my barrister wanted me to get up on the stand at the end of my sentencing, and I haven't got up at any stage for all the thing. I said, no, I don't want to talk to them. They said, you have to get up there and show remorse. And I said, I can't do that because back then I had no remorse. I didn't have remorse. But when I went up there, I had to fake remorse because they said your sentence will be lighter, and I said, okay, well, I'll do it. But I thought in my mind if what I got done for I was giving to my daughter, and then that made me feel remorseful. So that's a little thing, and I don't know how much that took off my sentence by getting up there, but I had to be told to get up there. So I didn't understand. From my little enclosed world of being caught in the drug scene and caught in the lifestyle. I couldn't see the damage I was doing.
Yeah, and it's too
I
late.
take responsibility.
But drug addiction also comes with, drug addiction comes with many other addictions, sex addiction, gambling addiction, intellectual addiction. social media addiction,
addiction to your own ego too. Like you want to be somebody, and yeah, you're the man.
partying addiction.
You're the man, bro. Like, oh, everyone loves you. Yeah, everyone loves you because you got the best drugs. So, yeah, but until you,
Jail addiction.
yeah, and like, over the years, I've been to that many funerals of people who've been murdered, people who've died of overdoses, people who've died of poor health just because they're and I still didn't get it. I still, I still didn't get it. And why? Because I was still using drugs all through this time. I was like, yeah, it's part of life, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be part of your life. If you're going to more than like 5 funerals a year, your life's not normal.
You know, recently, well, an ex of mine, yeah, he lost 2 friends, like an accident in the years because an explosion happened in their house. Drugs. It had nothing. The explosion had nothing to do with drugs, but drugs being involved meant no one was with it. You know, everyone's scattering out and whatnot. The next thing, in a big explosion, 2 people have died, and the rest are out of home. So yeah, it's very sad. It's 1 minute it's a party, the next minute it's absolute disaster.
But anyway, I'd like to thank you for coming up and sharing with us, Storm, because that's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And it's setting you on a good positive path and all the shit and everything. And yeah, we can all get there. We just have to. Not just want to desire to do it and find the vehicle to take us there. Your vehicle's been NA. My heart surgery had a lot to do with really hitting the brakes harder. I threw away the cigarettes at that time. And you know, once you stare death in the face of the result of your actions, if you're lucky enough to survive, it's a massive wake up call. So I want to dedicate the rest of my life to trying to help people and reach out to people and doing what I can to change things. So I've got a lot of. But anyway, I'm just going to finish up. So I'll thank you very much for coming up. Okay, change the viewer. Okay, yep. Now I hope I didn't kick you out there, Storm. All this Facebook stuff new to me. Anyway, people, peace, love, harmony, and watch out for my next podcast. The next podcast I'm picking my personal one, and and definitely with Amber. The next one I want to cover is DV.
Oh yes.
It's a growing problem in our society. There was a young girl who lost her life down Parks last week or like 2 weeks ago. She was 28 from memory, and it was from an ex-partner. This is something that needs to be looked at.
Absolutely.
And then it's something that needs to be addressed, and it's something that needs a lot of discussion
And awareness.
So watch out for that. I'll put some planning and thought into that one, and
I can help you with that.
yeah, definitely. And that'll be out the next organised podcast, or broadcast, whatever you call these things. So much love and appreciation. And I'm just quickly gonna finish off because of my new faith. I'm just gonna quickly say a prayer for everyone, and I'll just say a prayer, and then after that, I'll love yous and leave yous. Our Father, I pray for healing for all these people that need it in their lives. I pray that you touch them and show them the path, and there is a better way than walking through the darkness alone. May you walk with them. Yours through Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you very much. And love and leave you, and talk to you later.
Bye guys.
Bye.